Hello and welcome everyone. In today's video, we'll be learning about the command called tube. Now in NX, tube command plays a very important role in creating most of the complex geometries which we normally create using different set of commands. Now tube command is one of the very basic commands, so there is no need of a particular training in tube command, but we are going to answer some questions in tube command now, and which is typically very important to understand why we need to use tube command perfectly. Now, this particular video will be the part of series in which I'll be explaining you all the commands in which tube is involved. For example, like sweep command, sweep along guide command, variation of sweep command. So these three commands we are going to learn one by one. It starts all with the first command called tube. Okay, so let us start with the first command called tube and let us understand how to use tube command. Now, first of all, where exactly the tube command is located. So tube command is located under the surface tab, and inside the surface tab we have this more section over here, and there you can find the tube command. Earlier in the previous version of NX, where like version anything less than NX12 or NX12 itself, you will find the tube command under the home tab. Inside the more group over here, you will find it here. Okay, now for this example, the tube command is always present over here. Okay, now to make the things a little easier, let's say I want my tube command to be present over here in this particular corner. The easiest way to do that is go to customize, and for going to customize you can right click in the blank area, you can go to customize, then you can type the command called tube, and then you can drag the command here in the top area. So now the tube command is present over here, so it will be easier for us to access the tube command anytime we want to. Okay, now let us start with the tube command and let us understand how exactly tube command works, what exact limitations we have for the tube command, and how exactly it goes. Now tube command comes in the category of sweep. Now any command coming in the category of sweep will have two things to work with. Okay, so here we are going to learn tube command, and it has two things to work with. One is the section and second is the guide. So we need to understand something called a section and something called as guide. Now here in tube command, in section, so what is the type of section which we have? So it is a circle. Okay, circle, either single circle we can have or two circles as a section, and this is not something we need to sketch. Okay, this will be automatically created by the software. Okay, now section is always closed. Okay, section here is always closed, so there is no chance of creating a section by myself. So there is no customization inside the tube command. Like you have to deal with a tube, and as we know, the tube command will either have a solid circle or will have two circles. Okay, then along with that, in guide, so guide can be an open loop. Okay, so loop type we can say can be an open loop or a closed loop. Okay, so it can be an open loop in the sense set of connected segments. Okay, it can be either an open loop or a closed loop. It can be even a single curve. Okay, it can be even a single curve, but very important condition, no corners allowed. So you cannot create a tube typically on an area where there is a corner. So if you have a corner, you have to make sure it is filleted, otherwise the tube will not function on those kind of guides. So we can have an open loop, we can have a closed loop, but without any corners. So that is very important. And the output which we can get from the tube command, okay, itself will be either a solid body. Okay, so output will be either a solid body or a thin solid body. So we cannot get a surface geometry or a sheet body as an output inside the tube command. And the last thing, in Boolean, okay, in Boolean operation is allowed. So basically in tube command we have the Boolean operation which is allowed. So this is everything about the section, everything about the guide, everything about the output, and all of these about the Boolean operation. So let's start understanding this by great detail. Now let us start by creating a simple sketch, and that sketch will contain only a single line. So here I am creating a simple sketch which contains only a single line. You can give a length to the line, for example 300, if you want to follow along with this example. So here I am giving the length of the line as 300, which is of mm. Now here I'll click on finish. Okay, and then I'll go to the surface tab, or because I have already added the tube here in the home tab, I can even choose it from here for my convenience. Okay, so I can select the tube command here, I can reset the tube command so that it goes in the default state or default condition. Okay. Now here in tube command, we need have only one selection that is known as path. Okay. So we have only one selection that is known as path. So here in path, I'm going to select my line. Then I have to specify my outer diameter and my inner diameter. Okay. So anything, out of this, at least outer diameter should have a positive value. Inner diameter can be 0. Okay. And there are some conditions which we need to understand for outer and inner diameter. For example, here I'm defining the outer diameter as 50. And if I click on show result, this is how the tube is going to look like. A tube of outer diameter 50. Easy to understand. Similarly, if I give the inner diameter as 25, this is how it's going to look like. Okay. Now if I give the inner diameter 40, now this is how it's going to look like. Now I want you to comment in the section below that what is the thickness of the tube. Outer diameter is 50, inner diameter is 40. Then tell me in the comment section below that what is the thickness of the tube. I want to see the right comments over there. Now here we have the diameter 50 and diameter 40, and this is what is a thin solid is all about. So as I told you, in output, either we can have a solid body. Okay, if the inner diameter value is 0, we will have a solid body. If not 0, we will have a thin solid. Okay, a solid which is kind of shelled or hollow from inside. Okay, so this is how we can create a tube. Now inner diameter cannot match outer diameter, so it is not allowed. So if both are 50, it is not allowed. Okay, inner diameter cannot exceed outer diameter, so it is always inner diameter must be less than the outer diameter. Okay, that condition is always there. Inner diameter can be 0, but inner diameter cannot be more than the outer diameter. So that is some basic condition which is provided by the software. Now because we cannot match the inner to the outer, we cannot create a sheet body as an output. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, I hope this particular part is clear. Now I'll delete my tube. Okay, if it is already created, and I'll go and edit my sketch. Now in my sketch, let's say I'll introduce one more line of length 300 over here. Now in this sketch, we have a guide which is having corners. Okay, like there is a line here and there is a line here. So I'll go for tube again. Now, what is the easiest way of selecting this kind of curve is by using connected curve selection technique or connected curve rule. Okay, so inside curve rule, we should change this tangent curve condition to a connected curve condition. Let us try doing that. Now here I can notice one thing, that inside this command, there is no condition rule called connected curve. So there is only 2 or 3 conditions. One is single curve, tangent curve, feature curve, and curve in group. There is no option for connected curve. Okay, and the default is set to tangent curves. Okay, there is a reason for it. So let's say I'll try using single curve and try selecting this 2 with a diameter 50, and if I show the result, it is not happening. Okay, so non-linear guide object must be smooth with a continuous tangent. Okay, it is very important. So non-linear guide objects means which is not linear in the sense collinear guide objects must be smooth with a continuous object. So in short, corners are not allowed. Okay, in simplified language, corners are not allowed. So I'll need to cancel the tube command. I need to go back inside my sketch. Okay, I need to choose fillet and define a fillet here. Let's say a fillet of radius, suppose in this condition of 100. And I need to click on finish. Now there was a last time where we have used fillet when we were learning about combined projection. Okay, now again I'll go for tube command. Over here, I'll try the tangent curve selection. It is selecting in one go. I can now see the result. This is how typically it's going to look like. Okay, so I hope you understood how exactly the selection of the path works. Okay, and as I told you, a path can be an open segment or a closed segment. So if it is an open segment, okay, for example, this is an open condition. Okay, so whenever we create a tube, we will have 2 faces, one at the ending, one at the starting. So we have 2 flat faces, one at the ending and one at the starting. But if I have a closed sketch, now to create a closed sketch, I would prefer to create an arc tangential like this. I'll try to connect the arc as well over here. So this is a tangential geometry, a complete tangential geometry. Now I'll press the home button on the keyboard to get it aligned with my view, isometric view. And here I'll go for the tube command, tangent curve. I'll select this, the entire thing getting selected. And now you can see a tube is getting created without additional faces. Okay, without additional faces. So this is how tube command works on a specific set of objects. Now because we have Boolean operation, we can decide whether I want to unite it, subtract it, or intersect it with any other geometry. Okay, so that is still possible over here. Okay, and inside setting, we have an output type called multi-segment output or a single segment output. Let me explain you that. Now let's say, for example, as of now we were creating a tube on a 2D sketch. When we say a 2D sketch, means basically this is a sketch which is known as a 2D sketch, right? Now let us try conforming this to a 3D sketch. So for doing that, the easiest way would be, I can create an arc here, and then I can use a combined projection to convert this to a 3D sketch. So here I'll go for combined projection. I'll select this and I'll select this. I'll click OK. And now what we have here is a 3D sketch. Okay. Now let us try creating a tube on a 3D sketch. So here I'll go for tube. I'll select this. I'll show you the output. And now we can see that the output is divided into multiple segments. Okay. And the segments are not uniformly distributed. It is like sometime it is of a smaller size and sometime it is of a longer size. So that totally depends upon the type of the geometry which we are creating. So in this condition, okay, we can change the type to single segment, and that will obviously take more time to generate comparatively. Okay, but this will be giving you much more smoother result, much more faster output. Okay, so it will be combining all those multiple segments to a single segment. Okay, so I hope you got an idea about how to use the tube command properly. And I know tube command is nothing challenging in terms of understanding and learning by yourself, but it was very important for this series and to start with, because in the next set of sessions we'll be learning how to use sweep along guide command. So thank you everyone for watching and have a great day.